Nice to have you along for Tuesday's Look North. Hello, I'm Carol Malia. In tonight's programme, police seize these horrific weapons coming up soon as part of early morning raids in their latest crackdown on knife crime. Also tonight, the biggest change in a generation at one of our hospitals with the opening of a surgical centre, which could see the number of operations double. Find out what happened when I gave my email details to a cybersecurity expert and he looked on the dark web. Eek, that password.
Does that look familiar to you?
It looks familiar to
Does it really?
And that's the first three symbols of a once often used password that now I no longer obviously. And ahead of Sunderland's big weekend at Wembley, we speak to the young Black Cats fans looking forward to Saturday's huge playoff final against Sheffield United. And I suspect there's more on that in the sport talk.
What makes you think that, Carol? Yes, we're at York City's playoff semi-final tonight and we continue our countdown to Sunderland's playoff final at Wembley with an exclusive report from the club's academy, which has produced the core of the team who are now just one win away from the Premier League.
Good evening. The Force has the third highest rate of knife crime in the entire country, with almost 900 incidents reported in the last year. And this morning, Cleveland police made a series of arrests and recovered weapons as part of raids aimed at tackling knife crime. Officers said they'd received reports about one gang in Hartlepool where teenagers were said to be running wild, carrying knives and weapons in the street. A samurai sword, a machete and a club with nails were recovered from the house. As Stuart Wincup reports.
They say they're targeting those who bring misery to communities. Detectives believe this house is linked to drug dealing, and they've received reports of teenagers walking around the streets with knives and weapons.
Stand up, clothes off and being searched.
Cleveland Police has the third highest rate of knife crime in the country, and it said these raids were about being more proactive and hunting the criminals down.
We believe that there's a lot of dealing going on from this address. What we get from the community around here, it's all about drugs, it's all about violence, it's all about weapons. It's just like a free-for-all, if you like, in the street, but it's young males, 16, 17-year-olds who are being exploited to carry those weapons and carry out those acts of violence.
So you're under arrest on suspicion of being concerned in the supply of Class A drugs?
You look behind and it's like there's kids walking to school and they shouldn't be seeing this and they shouldn't be seeing anybody else wandering about the street with a weapon.
You dogs!
As well as raids, the force is also continuing to increase the number of stop and searches it does in areas of high violence.
Over the last year, Cleveland Police says there has been 880 violent incidents where a knife has been used or someone has been threatened with a knife. And detectives are saying they're seeing more young people carrying them, whether for protection or to impress friends. The youngest person the force has seized a knife from was just 11.
And it's not just the police dealing with these high levels of violence.
Blood pressure 129/71.
Every 3 days, staff at Middlesbrough's James Cook Hospital are having to treat a victim of knife crime.
We see people very publicly carrying knives, and that's something we take very seriously. We had over 10% youth-related knife crime and serious violence reduction last year. That's something that we need to build on, but we're by no means resting on our laurels there. You know, there's real tough challenges ahead, and we recognise that. Detectives
said today's raids were about locating and locking up those who use violence to threaten and terrorise communities. Stuart Wincup, BBC Look North, Hartlepool.
A man from West Cumbria has appeared in court in Indonesia on drugs charges. 32-year-old Thomas Parker from Workington could face a year in prison for allegedly being handed a package containing the drug MDMA. At the hearing in Bali, Thomas Parker issued an apology and said he didn't know what was in the package. The court will deliver its verdict next week. A family of burglars from Italy who stole more than £1 million worth of luxury goods from homes, including that of Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak, have been jailed. The gang targeted the Swedish international's home in Ponteland in April last year, taking cash, jewellery and a car. 32-year-old Valentino Nikolov was found guilty of conspiracy to commit burglary and jailed for 10 years. His brother Giacomo, sister Jela Yakonovich and her son Charlie Yakonovich admitted their involvement and were imprisoned for between 6 and 8 years each. A new multi-million-pound surgical centre is set to open, doubling the number of operations carried out at Northallerton's Friarage Hospital. It'll replace the hospital's existing facilities with 6 main operating theatres. The Friarage has seen many improvements over the years, but this is the biggest change since the original hospital opened before the Second World War. Adam Powell has more.
It'll probably look a bit different on the
Jason is meeting the surgeon who'll carry out his hip replacement. The mechanic from Catterick will be one of the first patients at the new-look Friarage Hospital.
But this is where we'll do your surgery, and then we'll have you up and about and on your feet once you get back out to the ward.
The first one I got done, I was really nervous about it, but my partner Dawn, she says, look, go for it and get it done, you get your life back, which that one's made a big difference. This one should make even a bigger difference.
It's been designed by clinicians for the benefit of patients.
It means that we can be more efficient, we can get more patients through, we can do a better quality service for them. And we've got the new kit that we're now beginning to adopt to try and improve the outcomes for patients. And it's a very exciting time for all of us, I think.
With 6 main operating theatres, 2 minor operating theatres and a surgical admission and day hub, planned operations will go from 5,000 to just under 10,000 a year.
Up at the acute sites, often patients can be cancelled for emergencies or for other reasons, clearly during the COVID pandemic. So this facility here is completely ring-fenced, so the staff can't be moved from here. And that means that we won't cancel patients for those reasons. So that is really good for our patients. It's a great experience and a lovely environment for the staff to work in as well.
By minimizing bottlenecks at every stage of that patient's journey, it means you can improve your theatre efficiency, you can improve your theatre throughput as well. So that's the whole idea and the concept of this.
The Friarage has certainly come a long way since its days treating casualties of bombing raids on Teesside during the Second World War. The first operations will start next month. Adam Powell, BBC Look North.
Now, a BBC investigation has shed light on 2 major cyber attacks on councils in our region, Redcar and Cleveland in 2020 and more recently Gateshead. Both caused significant concern. Well, following our report on Look North last night, we thought we'd find out how cyber attacks can happen to any one of us on a personal level. We gave my personal email address to the cybersecurity expert featured in a BBC documentary. He searched for it on the dark web. Not a comfortable feeling, I can tell you, and this is what he found among billions of other people's details available for a price to bad actors.
I wasn't surprised to discover that you are also for sale on the dark web.
Right, okay,
So you've got
I had a feeling.
Yeah, multiple matches, and the most recent one was in May this year. What we're able to see is the source of the breach. So there's an awful lot of breaches, for example, the ones that have happened really recently. It's very likely that at some point in time, data associated with that breach related to some of the retail outlets will become listed. So we get to see what the originating source of that breach actually was and any of the information that is stored around that. So
Eek, that password.
Does that look familiar to you?
It looks familiar.
Does it really?
And that's the first 3 symbols of a once often used password that now I no longer obviously.
Good, because that's for sale.
Wow.
We've seen a lot of public breaches recently in the press, and let's say, for example, that you'd used that online shop. That shop suffers a data breach. The username and password associated with that shop then gets leaked and put up for sale on the dark web.
Right. So basically, you have to trust retailers to have really robust systems,
100%.
don't you? Well, any method of transaction you're making online, you've got to put your trust in them having good, is it firewalls, things like that?
Yeah, firewalls, continuous cyber auditing. It's nothing that you're necessarily doing incorrectly. It's just the nature of the cyber threats today.
Because I know I am guilty of having used the same password.
Oh, Carol, come on.
I know. But, you know, historically, and you go back through the accounts that you might have used it for, that you don't use anymore, but actually they're still there, aren't they, and can be accessed. And
that is one of the things that the threat actors assume. We all do it, right? We all do it. We're creatures of habit. It's your dog's name, it's your daughter's birthday. We all choose a password, and because we can't be bothered to remember multiple passwords, we keep on reusing it.
Yes.
So what the threat actors do in the dark web when they buy your record, they will try to connect to your email address, because if they can get into your inbox, that's an avenue for connecting to absolutely anything. Online stores, online banking, they can really get to understand who you are digitally.
So what do I do then? I mean,
Good practice, don't reuse passwords,
Yeah.
use complex passwords, use multi-factor authentication. Any level of security that any online store gives you, if it's multiple authentication, if it's you've got to validate your identity using an SMS passcode, take it.
Well, I hope you found that more useful than scary. I was certainly scared for a time there. And there's a documentary on this, Cyber Siege, From Russia to Redcar, about those council attacks. It's available on the BBC iPlayer now. Right, let's see what else is making the news today, shall we? Newcastle-based Children's Hospice St Oswald's is facing a deficit of more than £1 million. The charity's boss blames increasing costs. Critics say the closure of a busy junction on the M6 in Cumbria will cost local people millions. National Highways says the essential bridge repair work is vital to improve safety. And the RNLI lifeboat station in Tynemouth has recruited its first female operations manager in its 235-year history. Those stories and more on the BBC News app and online for you. Now, it's a big old weekend if you're a Sunderland supporter, and some young Black Cats fans are counting down the days till their club's championship playoff final on Saturday. It's been 8 long seasons since the Wearsiders were last in the Premier League, and we've been to one school in the city where none of the pupils remembers their team being in England's top division.
I'm Isaac, I'm 10 years old and I go to Dame Dorothy Primary School.
I'm Lennon and I'm 11 and I go to Dame Dorothy Primary School.
My name's Sophie, I'm 11 years old and I go to Dame Dorothy Primary School.
My name's Charlie, I'm 9 years old and I go to Dame Dorothy Primary School.
My name's Emily and I'm 11 and I go to Dame Dorothy.
My name's Erin and I'm 11 and I go to Dame Dorothy.
Wilson Isidore, because he has good skills and he can score.
Probably is Wilson Isidore. He's really fast, he's really good, he's scored some really good goals for us. He's just like my favourite player, one of them. So I do like all the Sunderland players, but probably is Wilson Isidore.
My favourite player is Chris Young because he's just gorgeous and amazing.
I was there when the goal went in, just the stadium erupted and celebrating.
I watched all of the match with my mum and my stepdad. It was really fun, and yeah, I was just screaming and shouting when Ballard scored the header.
Amazing. We could see Chelsea and Tottenham, Man City. We see all the big clubs.
Amazing. Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Yeah. Why do you think it'd be good?
Because I've never seen Sunderland in Premier League before.
Same. I'd like to play in Newcastle and see them more derbies. It'll be better.
Yeah.
I think they're really counting down the sleeps, aren't they?
I know, so exciting.
It's all, well, it's hotting up, Dawn. isn't it?
It certainly is, and it's worth noting because it is just so unusual these days that it's a core of local players who've helped get Sunderland to within one win of returning to the Premier League. The club has calculated that more than a quarter of their league minutes this season have been played by graduates from their academy. And recognising its importance, they've offered all current academy players a ticket for Saturday's playoff final at Wembley. Nisha Joshi has this exclusive report.
A place where footballing dreams are being made into reality. Inspired by the success of England stars Jordan Henderson and Jordan Pickford before him, is academy graduate turned Sunderland captain Dan Neil.
I think one of the big things for Sunderland is that they do have that trust in youth, and I said it with Anthony Patterson before, like we kind of fell on our feet with the club almost going to League One personally, because obviously as fans we were absolutely gutted, but they obviously give us chances which we're so grateful for, and obviously we took them, and I think that inspired other players to come and do it. Now you're seeing Chrissy Rigg, you're seeing Tommy Watson, Harrison Jones. I think just that little bit of faith in the youth has, kind of sparked almost a conveyor belt.
Hoping to be one of the next in line is Jayden Jones, who's seen brother Harrison earn his first team breakthrough this season. Jayden first came to the academy aged 6.
It's such a nice place to be. We're constantly seeing morning to everyone, even the women's coaches, the under-9s coaches, you see everyone equal, and I think it's forming a nice person as well as a good player.
How do you balance life outside football and in education?
For example, whilst we've been in full-time, we've had loads of life skills sessions on. A few months ago we got sent on some work experience. I myself went to this mechanics workshop at a garage up near Newcastle. I'm doing a maths A-level alongside it, which might help me in the future.
And what's the dream?
The main goal at the moment is to try and break into that first team, try play alongside my brother. The day we're both playing together and we make that pass to each other, that'll be the defining moment.
As a reward for their hard work this season, academy players are training at the Stadium of Light. For the coaches, football isn't their only goal. They want the lads to develop off the pitch too.
It's massive now, not just because of the mandates from the Premier League rules, but I think academies across the country are recognising the value and importance of it. So we're developing them as rounded young people so they can thrive in their life, which should help them on the pitch when they're trying to develop as footballers as well.
One of the big success stories of Sunderland's season has been Chris Rigg. A 17-year-old having such an impact.
Credit to him and his family, and seeing him make his first appearance, and when he scored his first championship goal against Southampton, and some of the staff members here can remember Riggy as an 8 or 9-year-old playing on this very pitch we're sitting on now. So those are the moments that really I think staff, it gives them energy, it gives them the reason to come into work.
There's some fundamental importance around having local players in your team, having that culture that can live and breathe within the team. Dan Neil's a great example of that as our captain. And then there's obviously some of the business elements which are around player trading, which obviously make it a significant part of revenue generation, obviously how a club operates nowadays. But ultimately we're about opportunity for the ones that are able to progress through to the top end, if you like, those older age groups. We have to believe in them, and whether that's a training session as a young under 14, under 15 as Chris Rigg would have been, or whether you're prepared to put them in the team and be brave.
The club is just one game away from a Premier League return, so is there extra pride in achieving success with a core of homegrown players?
The journey over the last 5 years has obviously been a difficult one. It hasn't been linear, in terms of how our progress has gone. But I think the most satisfying thing will be that we'll have achieved it doing it the way that we believe it should have been done, or it should be done. And I think that's a really important thing, because then we have lived and breathed our culture, we've lived and breathed what we feel our strategy should be, some of those really important principles, and one of those principles is the integration of young players.
Should Sunderland go back into the top flight, will players still get those chances to play in the first team?
Yeah, we're a big believer in youth development, so when Kirill acquired the club many years ago now, part of the reason was the strong ethos on youth development, and himself and Christian have really continued that. So if we're lucky enough to be promoted, I see the same aspects, the same importance, the same impact from the academy that we're currently seeing.
Interesting stuff, isn't it? Now, Carlisle United have confirmed that Mark Hughes will remain at Brunton Park. relationship with supporters and reinvigorated the squad. Despite their relegation from the Football League, the Cumbrians suffered only one home defeat under the former Wales international. Now, it's a huge night for York City, who are hoping to replace Carlisle United in the Football League next season. The Minster men take on Oldham in the semi-finals of the National League playoffs in around an hour's time. And Alistair Gill is live at the LNER Stadium for us tonight. Alistair.
Thank you, Dawn. Yes, after a disappointing few years, York City have had a really spectacular season this time. 96 points, 95 goals scored, just 8 defeats all season. If it wasn't for the brilliance of Barnet, they'd have been going up as National League winners. As it is, they've got 2 matches to negotiate if they're to get back to the Football League for the first time since 2016. Oldham Athletic first up here tonight, and if they win that one, then they get a trip to Wembley to play either Southend or Forest Green Rovers. And the fans are believing it's possible. They're packing this place out tonight, a sellout crowd, 8,000, little bit more, dreaming of seeing their team go to Wembley.
I'm a bit butterflies in the stomach, a bit nervous, but I know we can do it.
We've got home advantage, the crowd behind us, so yeah, I'm feeling good about it.
That's my lucky hat, being bought from the shop. So, but yeah, I'm hopeful it'll be a good night, but we'll see.
Hopefully tonight, confident 3-1 win. On to Wembley, innit?
It has been a rough few years for York City. They actually ended up all the way down in the 6th tier, the National League North, for 5 whole seasons. They were nearly relegated out of this division last year, but are things changing? Well, we'll find out tonight, at least stage 1 against Oldham, and you can listen to all the action on BBC Radio York with David Ward and Ian Dunn. Dawn.
Yeah, you certainly can, and fingers crossed for York City tonight. Oh, cricket now. Durham have signed New Zealand international Jimmy Neesham for the T20 Blast campaign. It comes after Ryan Campbell's side claimed their first home win of the county championship season, beating leaders Notts in a thriller at the Riverside. Durham were in the driving seat with the highest first-class total, but Notts fought their way back into the game before Durham's bowling attack struck. And they picked up the 91 runs they needed to beat the visitors by 7 wickets and move up to 4th in the table. What a fantastic result that was, Carl.
Yeah, you've got tons going on in sport.
Oh, God, everywhere.
Yeah. Right, now, here's something. Today is World Bee Day. You can't say that too fast.
No, Bee Day.
Bee Day, yeah, which is designed to raise awareness of the threats bees face, like overdevelopment and the loss of habitats. Excuse me. But near Bishop Auckland, they're thriving after being reintroduced 5 years ago.
Yes, the team at the Binchester Roman Fort have installed an apiary, a collection of hives, after it emerged that the Romans may have kept bees at the site hundreds of years ago. Thousands of years ago, probably. And as Jim Scott's been finding out, that's not the only place where bees are slowly taking over.
The sound of a happy hive. Thousands of bees coming and going every few minutes at their home at Binchester's Roman Fort.
The Romans were obsessed with honey. The honey was used for, obviously, cooking, adding sweetness to the recipes. They made mead, an alcoholic drink.
They've been reintroduced to the Roman fort after a break of more than 1,500 years, and while the world has become unrecognisable since then, we still rely on bees for the same things.
Every third mouthful of food we put in our mouths is thanks to the bees. Einstein said that if the bees become extinct, the human race will start to, die off within 4 years.
The Auckland project is set to take over the running of the fort at the end of the year, but it's taking what works here and using it at another major attraction. Well, along the road at Auckland Palace, 3 of these hives have been installed. Now, they're not full just yet, but by the end of summer, each one will be home to 60,000 bees.
I think it was important to understand that we are running low on pollinators, locally, globally. If we can do our bit and expand on the approach that Ash has with bees and have this down here where they are solely for pollinators.
But you won't be able to buy their honey. The main aim here, keep these hives buzzing and plants thriving. Jim Scott, BBC Look North, County Durham.
You have to be brave to film that one, don't you?
You certainly do, especially if you haven't got a bee suit on.
Yeah, no, did that happen?
I'm not saying that it did, but it
No,
might have done.
Might have. BBC rules and all that. Right, Paul, the weather.
Health and safety nightmare. Yes. Well, on World Bee Day, it would be rude not to use some weather pictures with bees in. Let's take a look at some sunshine first of all. At Sutter Lighthouse, Ian shot there. That busy bee, very, very busy. Nicely focused there. Thanks, Ian, for that one. Next up, we're off to York, and amongst the poppies, a different type of bee. I'm no bee expert, but I can see it's different from the last one. Thanks, Gary, for that one. Lovely sunshine there as well, and many people have been enjoying the sunshine. These very sensible sheep in Teesdale are taking a bit of shelter under that tree there in the spring sunshine. Thanks to Richard for that. Now, over the next few days, the high pressure that's been dominating the weather hangs on for just a few days longer through the rest of the working week essentially, and then as we head into the weekend, bank holiday weekend, of course, things turn much more unsettled. Now, we did have one or two thundery showers across Cumbria and onto the Pennines today. They're clearing away as we head into the evening. Essentially, it stays dry and largely clear, just some patchy cloud drifting in from time to time overnight. Temperatures will drop down to about 5 or 6 Celsius at the lowest, and under the clear skies and shelter from the breeze, you might just see 1 or 2 mist patches forming. Any early mistiness will clear away quickly tomorrow morning. Fine dry day for most of us, just some patches of cloud around, lots of blue sky, lots of sunshine, just the outside chance of an odd shower, maybe parts of Cumbria, but even there, there'll be few and far between. Most places will stay bone dry. Now, the breeze is coming down from the north. We saw 20 Celsius inland today, just a shade cooler tomorrow. Looking at highs, Penrith there, 19 degrees Celsius, that's 66 Fahrenheit. Generally a little cooler in many coastal areas. So over the next few days, we've had high pressure for the last few weeks, and it's trying to hang on, but it's gradually being squeezed by Atlantic low pressures coming in and this other low over Scandinavia. They essentially merged to give us one big area of low pressure as we head into the weekend, and you can see they're pushing these weather fronts towards us as well. So finally, we will see some proper rain, some widespread rain as we head into the weekend. Not all bad news. I know many people are waiting for a bit of rain. So tomorrow it's fine, it's dry. As I said, temperatures peaking in the high teens in that northerly breeze. We head into Thursday, perhaps a little bit more cloud, maybe just a little bit cooler again, 15 or 16 Celsius in the northerly breeze, but sunshine at times for most of us. And it's a similar picture through the day on Friday, mostly dry with some sunshine. Again, temperatures mid to high teens at best. It's overnight, Friday night into Saturday that things start to change. We see the cloud and rain coming in. So most places will start the day on Saturday with some rain at times. And then it gives way to sunny spells and scattered showers as we head through the bank holiday weekend. So there certainly will be some rain around as we head towards the weekend. As I say, much needed for some people, but some people will be reluctant to see the end of the sunshine as we head into the bank holiday weekend. You can get the latest online and on the BBC Weather app.
Thanks, Paul. You showed a lovely picture there of hawthorn, and it's really profuse this year.
I've got 3 in my garden. It's absolutely beautiful.
I wonder if it means something. There's usually an amateur weather theory on that, isn't there? Something like that. Like it's usually seaweed or something. But yes. There's your task for tomorrow.
I'll look up.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.